the food in the United Kingdom is pretty universal throughout kind of the popular things. You wouldn't find as many major chains there as you would here. I mean, things like McDonald's and Burger King and KFC, they're there and they're available. But some of the traditional dishes that you'd think of would definitely be fish and chips. And fish and chips is absolutely divine. I love it. It was kind of iffy before I went out, but I had it in the MTC and I had it when I came out, and I think it's great. Definitely with vinegar. You put vinegar on your fish and chips. Chips are what we would call French fries. They're thick cut, most of the time, but they call them chips there. And they have on every corner almost, and everywhere you'll go, you'll find what's called a chippy, which is these small fry shops where you can go and get freshly battered fish and chips, or battered sausages, or even you can get little bits of pizza battered for you. I mean, anything you can think of, they'll fry it up, they'll deep fry it, and they'll serve it to you, which is great. One of my favorite things was a deep fried Cadbury cream egg. It was absolutely fantastic, and if you don't have it, I feel sorry for you. So they have deep fried cream eggs, deep fried Mars bars. I mean, those are the kind of the sweet things that they eat there, but chippies are really, really common. They're really popular there if you're looking for a quick bite to eat and something to really experience that culture. Another thing that's really popular in the UK is Indian food. Actually, it's become really popular. A tradition in the Scotland Ireland mission is when you get there, your trainer takes you out and he buys you what's called a kebab. A doner kebab, which is doner meat, is this lamb meat that they have. And so we call it your kebabtism. You go in and they'll buy you this really big, greasy, meaty kebab, and buy it for you and eat it, and they taste really good. It's a naan bread filled with doner meat and then vegetables on top, and Indian sauce. So you get a lot of Indian places there as well. I mean, they serve the foods that you'll think of, meat and potatoes. That's definitely a staple that you'll get there, and they do it quite well. But the Indian food that you'll get is really good. You can have what's called a Scottish breakfast, or a Scottish fry up, or you can have what's called a Scottish fry, or an Irish fry, or an English fry. They're all pretty close. It's a breakfast dish. It's really good. You'll get sausages, but they're different from sausages here. I really don't know how to describe them. They're tasty, but they're just different. So you get sausages, you'll get black and white pudding, you'll get beans, toast, bits of tomato, bits of mushroom, eggs, and it's really, really tasty. It's really good. It fills you up quite well. It's a nice carb and protein loaded breakfast for you. I was made it a couple times by members, and it was really good. So that's something that's varies a little bit. It's all close to the same, but it's relatively same throughout. In Scotland, you have the famous haggis that you can eat, and I think haggis is wonderful. I don't know what anybody's told you about it, but haggis is great. I managed to convince one of my companions that the haggis was actually a real creature. And that's one of the traditions there, is that the haggis is a real creature. It's kind of like a sheep, but one set of its legs is shorter than the other, so that it can run around on the hillsides, because there's so many hills there. You run around the sides of the hills. And so I managed to convince one of my companions that the haggis was a real creature for an entire dinner, and the members thought it was brilliant. So that was really good. Let's see. They also make, in the UK, they'll make what's called roasties. And I know you have roast potatoes here, which are, you put them in the oven, you take them out, they're nice and soft. But they'll halfway boil them, and then they stick them in the oven with some oil, and they become really crispy on the outside. And those are some of my favorite things. You take them out, they're crispy, but they're perfectly soft on the inside. And so, if the Irish don't know how to make potatoes, who does, right? Yeah, so you have roasties. So you take them, they're in little, good chunks, and you put them on the boil, and you let them boil about halfway, and you heat your oven up, and then you take a 9 by 13 pan, and you put some oil at the bottom, I don't know how much. I haven't like made them myself, but I know how. And then you stick them in there, and then the oil will, you know, pop and fizzle and crisp up the outside of it, kind of like a French fry is crispy on the outside. So it's kind of like that, except potato version.